Paul McLean here, president of Family First Life West Coast. So let's talk about you sitting with a client. You go through everything with them, 78-year-old male, 78-year-old female, somebody that's elderly. You go through everything, it looks good, you're closing the deal, and they say, wait, hold up. We got to talk it over with our son or daughter. We don't do anything until we speak to them. In fact, before you came over, we had a pregame call, and they said, Mom, don't sign nothing. No matter what he says, don't get this. We've got to talk to them. In fact, Paul, every time we make a decision, we run it by our kids, right? How do you overcome that objection? Now, for me, this was a difficult objection in the beginning, and I got a lot with final expense, and it was difficult because the objection wasn't there, right? They were acting like there was another decision maker that wasn't present. So how do you overcome that and still help protect the family, right? And so first step is this. 4 steps we're going to cover real quick. Step 1 is you've got to relate to them. You've got to connect before you convince. And so if you just start blabbering about the fact that it doesn't make sense, that they need to make the decision, that they're the parent, they shouldn't, on and on, whatever your thought process is, it's going to create an arm wrestling competition, so to speak, and they're just going to defend their opinion and their situation. And the real objection, maybe it's budget or whatever, you're never going to get to that because you've not met them where they're at. So step 1 is connect. And I like using the feel, felt, found process. So listen, Mary, I understand exactly how you feel. In fact, I feel the same exact way, so does my mom. And most clients I sit with in your situation, they feel the same way as well. And what I found is this. When most clients talk it over with their kids, because you should, what I found is that the last thing that kids, myself included, when I think about it with my mom, the last thing that we want to think about is our mom, our parent passing away. We just don't want to think about it. We almost want to just like act like it's not going to happen and put it to the side by saying, hey mom, don't worry about it, don't think about it, you don't need nothing, you're good. That's what you're typically going to get. And so what I found is most clients in your situation, they say, listen, it's not about me or it's not about what the kids want for themselves. This is something that I'm doing for my son. This is something I'm putting in place to make sure that they're protected and I can sleep good at night knowing that there's no burden left. And maybe they don't want to think about it and they push it aside, but I'm going to make sure that this is in place. Now, what I've also found is this, with a lot of death claims that we've delivered, is the kid, son, daughter, whoever might have said, which is most, don't think about it, mom. At the end of the day, when that check is delivered, it's like the last love letter. They think, wow, my mom really cared. And I can't tell you how many times we've heard that in the agency with agents, field owners delivering checks, and the kids saying, wow, I didn't know that my mom had this in place. She really did care to make sure this was taken care of. And it just fills them with that love and joy. It's like the last love letter. And so that's the first step, right? So now I've related to them, right? I've met them where they're at, said it's okay to feel that way, right? But what I found is this. Okay, so step 1 is that. Step 2, which is really what I just kind of covered in the same thing of step 1, is going ahead and saying that what you think could prevent you from getting this protection, the kids saying, don't think about it, mom, it really shouldn't, because that's natural. But at the end of the day, most clients in your situation still get the plan in place, even with that said. So you take it away from them. The third step is the real objection, because most of the time that's just a smokescreen. Them deferring to their kids because they know their kid's not there. It's a safe out, and it's protecting them from having to go into the fact that they really can't afford it, or maybe they don't see the value in it quite yet. So the real objection is typically affordability, or there's not enough value they see in it. How do you overcome that? The way you overcome that is saying, listen, and I'll say, does that make sense as far as how this is last? And they say yes. I say, now listen, real quick, let me ask you this. If your son decides and says, you don't need this, mom, I don't want you to get it. Do you just simply want to run it by him, but you're still going to get the protection in place? Now, if they say yes, we're going to get it anyways, I say perfect. So it sounds like regardless of him saying he wants you to have it or doesn't want you to have it, you want to have this in place for him. So because either way, you're going to make sure this is in place. Let's see if we can obviously get you qualified, because I don't know if you will or won't get approved. Grab your driver's license. We'll see if we get you qualified. They basically just put themselves in this position where the natural next step is to go ahead and move forward. So that's what that looks like. All right, the next thing is this. If they say, all right, when you're seeing through the smoke screen, they say, well, we probably wouldn't get it if they said don't get it. Then I'm going to say, if they say no, do you think it's going to be due to the budget, it being too costly, or because they don't think it's valuable, it's not important enough? Which one do you think? Now, whatever they say, that's their objection, right? They're communicating their objection through them. So they say, I think they would say it's too expensive. I say, no big deal. Let's look at an option where they feel like it would be sustainable for you. So we drop it down to this amount. And again, we don't know if it's going to be approved or not, so we can't make a decision. But if they did qualify, do you think that this would be more sustainable? They think it'd be more sustainable. Yeah, I do. Perfect. Grab your driver's license. Let's see if we get you qualified, right? So you're seeing through the smoke screen. They say, well, I don't know if they think it would be important enough. Well, then you just got to go back and say, well, help me understand why they wouldn't see it as important. And then you can get them to verbalize whatever's holding them back from seeing the correct value in this protection that's going to move them forward. Once you've done that, you go right into the number 4, the close. And the close is very simple. Again, it's once you've gone through all that, you say, now again, Mary, we can't make a decision today because we don't know if it's going to qualify. But if it did qualify, would this be sustainable as far as protection and budget? Or you want to look a little higher, a little bit lower? Or is this about where you want to be? No, that's about where I want to be. Perfect. We'll see if we qualify you here. Grab your driver's license for me. They get the driver's license, you start the process. So 4 steps to overcoming the objection when a client says, I need to talk to my kids. So hope this helps, guys. Make it a productive week. Go out there and write your 10,000, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.